That's great. So I've got everyone on the course in terms of the ones who have joined the induction. Thank you so much for joining. This particular course induction is going to be looking at taking you through a couple of things with regards to making you confident in terms of studying the course. So I'm going to be looking at taking you through a course overview. It'll be also looking at showing you some systems that you're going to be accessing during the study of your course with us. We'll very briefly look at the feedback assessment process at this stage. It's not something that we need to get into details right now, but the idea would be to try and give you a bit of an overview so that you have a clear idea in terms of an understanding in terms of, what is the feedback and assessment process. And then I'll show you a sample certification. We'll also show you a couple of other things related to when you apply to university and when you're looking at progressing towards university for your degree course, the UCAS and the UCAS application form and the UCAS code, so that those are things that are for information at this stage only. So let's start with the discussion on the course overview first. And I'm going to shift you over to the course handbook. All the material that is going to be shown in today's induction is all going to be available to you from our system, and you would not need to make any notes. So just sit back, relax, and obviously just go through the session with us. So, and all these things which I'm pulling out are going to show you during the course of the induction will be available from our system. Now, most of you who have joined the course induction today are looking at studying the Level 3 Diploma in Business. This is a signature qualification from ATHE, which is the awarding body, Awards for Training and Higher Education. This qualification has been in existence since 2009, and it's a qualification which a lot of learners do essentially to look at bridging the gap between their GCA levels and then going into university. So this is considered equivalent to like a foundation diploma or an access to foundation diploma, and generally it is about 60 credits. So this basically can also be delivered by a sixth form college, and some of you would also study this with providers like us. And the idea and reason or rationale behind studying this qualification is that you are having a gap, level 3 qualification, which allows you to get into higher education or a degree course with a university at some stage. Now, this qualification is basically consisting of 4 units. This is the off-call qualification number, and this is something which is a recognized qualification. It was last refreshed in 2015. This will undergo some sort of a refresh either this year or early next year, as per the rules and regulations of off-call, that all qualifications should undergo some sort of a revision in 5 years' time. Now, for those of you who are looking at taking this qualification, there could be various reasons. There are learners who take up this qualification who come from abroad. They have settled here. They have not had the GCSE and A levels in the UK, or not studied and not had, say, for example, some of you who would have studied GCSE and A levels, but have not scored a C grade minimum. Then in some cases, universities, when you look at taking the degree course, would ask you to do or study a level 3 diploma. Now, a couple of other things which I want to quickly take you through on the introduction onto the course is what are the 4 units that you're going to be studying. Now, there are 4 units in this course. Each of them carries 15 credits, and all these units are going to be assessed via an assignment. Now, there is one assignment in most cases for all the units. There are no exams whatsoever. The assignments will be a combination of a Word document that you produce or an essay or a case study. And in some cases, it will also ask you to produce a PowerPoint presentation. The idea of these 4 units is to give you, background in terms of if you're looking at taking up qualifications at the degree level, which will take you into retailing, financial services, services sector in general. You're looking at working in sales, marketing, accounting, finance side of things, or legal services. And that is where these units will be geared enough to give you knowledge and skills that you develop, which will further be hopefully enhanced when you do a degree course. So the first unit is going to be how businesses operate. This is what we have planned and scheduled to start delivery with later this week. The second unit is going to be marketing principles, and the third and the fourth unit are going to be generic units, but very useful for you in your university courses. One is academic and research skills, and the other is communication skills. Now, some of these units that you are going to study at level 3 will also be studied at your first year of degree course. Reason being that they would be increasing in a bit more complexity and will be a bit more advanced, but names might change, but some part of the content that you study in the unit will become a bit more advanced. And obviously, at level 4, they will be adding to the skills that you have learned at level 3. Now, this is a graded qualification. So the reason of sharing this with you here in the course overview is that for those of you who are looking at differentiating your work and also looking at achieving different grades or better grades, should be looking at achieving and looking at this particular aspect of the qualification being graded. So generally, in order to secure a certification, you would need to have at least achieved a pass mark. And in some cases, when you, in addition to the pass activities or tasks which are set in the assignment brief, if you also attempt the merit and distinction activities, then your overall qualification and your grade in the qualification or for that unit would move into a higher grade, which could be merit and distinction. And the reason of linking and mentioning this to you here is that when you look at grades, you know, when you look at UCAS points, if you have a high grade like distinction, you get more points. If you have merit, you get slightly lower points than distinction. And if you have pass, you get the basic points on which is basically related to the UCAF status. So here, grading that you have to keep in mind is to keep in mind that when you look at the units and the unit contents, if I just scroll you over to one of the unit specification sheets, you're going to see that there are activities in the pass, merit, and distinction criteria. And obviously, achieving a higher grade would mean that you are able to score more UCAS tariffs or UCAS points, essentially, when you're applying for your degree qualification or applying to university admission. And this tends to open up, if you have higher grades and you have more points, it tends to open up, you know, more choice of universities that you can apply to get into to study your degree qualification. Now, in the course overview, I'm going to leave it here for now. There are one or two small bits which I will mention. They would be, we could make special arrangements for, let's say, people who have, if you have any sort of disability, then my suggestion would be to let us know if there are any special considerations that you want us to take into account while the teaching and delivery of this course is being done, so that we can try and allocate resources and obviously provision for some of the resources, if we don't have already, in a way and format that is going to be convenient for you to study this qualification with us. Although this qualification is going to be delivered fully online, which is through the live Zoom meeting session. So we'll be teaching this qualification live to you every week. But the idea would be still to ensure that if you have any disability and if you have declared this in your application forms to us earlier, then we would want to make provisions so that you are able to access and we are able to accommodate as much as possible your considerations for the purposes of delivery of this course. Now, when you study the course with us, you're going to get everything from us. When I say everything, I literally mean everything with us. The reason I say that is, for the study of the course, you would need to have access. If I just put on a hat right now and assume that I'm going to study in a classroom-based setting, what are the key things that you have when you look at studying a course? So you would have access to tutors who are going to be competent in teaching the units that are in the course. You'll have access to teaching and learning materials in terms of resources. And these could be things like ebooks or books, essentially, that you look at. In the case, because you're doing it online, so it will be ebooks, electronic version of the books. You'll have presentations for all the learning outcomes that we take you through. And in this aspect, just a very brief mention here, that when we look at teaching the unit to you, the unit is actually broken down into what is called learning outcomes and assessment criteria. So in short, we refer them to as LOs and ACs. So each learning outcome is going to be covered in one live session. So when we teach the unit, we're not going to teach the whole unit in one go. These sessions tend to be between 30 to 45 minutes long, and these sessions would cover one learning outcome of the unit. So if I look at how businesses operate, just as a case in point, an example here, what we're going to see is that when we look at this particular unit, you have learning outcome 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this particular unit is broken down into 6 learning outcomes. And what we are going to be doing is basically look at conducting at least 6 plus 1 additional session. That means there'll be 7 sessions to cover this unit via Zoom. And the reason is in each of the sessions, we'll cover 1 learning outcome, all the assessment criteria by discussing them through a presentation, video, question answer session in a Zoom meeting session. And that will allow you to have full understanding of how the unit is being covered and what content is being covered is going to come from here. So each learning outcome, the awarding body has given us some content. This content is going to be discussed in that particular session when we teach and deliver this unit. Now, some learning outcomes have only a few assessment criteria. So the sessions in those cases could be very short, but that does not mean that we will not have a session for them. We will still do a session, but this session will be covering maybe some details related to what is given in the assessment criteria. Now, in terms of resources, just going back to, so when you study with us, you'll have ebooks, you'll have presentations, which are broken down into learning outcomes. You will have access to, obviously recorded, all the lectures that we do are recorded. So the lecture recordings will be available. You'll have access to handouts or case studies and articles that we have got associated with this unit. And then last but not the least, you'll have the assignment brief, which is provided by the awarding body, which we are going to attempt at some stage when we complete the unit. Now, after every unit, we are going to have an independent discussion on the assignment also. So after this unit, if there are 6 learning outcomes, the 7th session that we're going to do is a session on assignment discussion, wherein we'll discuss the assignment in terms of how to go about doing it, what evidence is to be collected, what material you need to look at, referring back to from our teaching and learning material, and how you put it together and how you submit it for the purposes of assessment and for marking, and then also mention very clearly what grade you want to achieve, so that if your work does not meet the criteria first time, we'll be giving you feedback, and that feedback essentially I will cover in the second part, and that would allow you to improve your work and resubmit to be able to achieve that grade. Now, one last thing in the course overview, plagiarism or malpractice. Now, as you know that all the work that you submit has to be referenced. In the UK, most qualifications tend to follow what is called the Harvard referencing system. This is something that we'll give you more information on as you go along studying the course with us. But just briefly at this stage, what we expect you to do is when you submit your work into us, your work should not have more than 20% similarity, or a similarity which is not being paraphrased or appropriately referenced would be considered as plagiarism. That means you cannot pass somebody else's work under your own name as your own work, and that is seen as plagiarism. So I'll get to that in a bit, but these are the bits that I want to just very briefly cover in terms of the course overview at this stage during the induction. So key takeaways from the first part of our discussion are that you're looking at ATHE Level 3 Diploma in Business. That's the name of the qualification. It's 60 credits, equivalent to a level 3 or a foundation diploma. There are 4 units to study. Each of them carry 15 credits. It's a 16 to 20 weeks course. And you're looking at starting this with us this week, and then looking at finishing towards the last week of August. All the course is going to be delivered via Zoom sessions. It is going to be distance learning, but in a way, because we are live and teaching this live, so an element of blended learning included. There are no examinations in this course. All the assessments are going to be done by assignments. Key takeaway in the assignment part would be that you're looking at managing or making sure that you're aware that over 20% similarity will not be allowed in your work if it's not been referenced or paraphrased. So in the first part that we've discussed, are there any questions? Do you have any doubts, any queries, any questions at this stage? Feel free to ask me now before I move on to the second part. You can ask me questions. If you think of them, write them down as I'm going through the content, and then you can write them down and also ask me through the chat room, which is absolutely fine. And at some stage, what I would do is basically look at taking up all these questions, and then responding back to you. Now, very briefly, let's look at going to the second part of the discussion that we want to do, and that is to look at showing you the systems. So the first part that I've looked at, in terms of the agenda that we have put up is the course overview. And what I've done is I've covered this course overview in terms of, giving you some background on how the course is going to be delivered and what the course includes. Let's go across to the second part, which is systems. Now, in the second part, I'm going to show you two aspects of it. One is, let's look at the website, which is going to be a starting point pretty much, for the purposes of you being able to reach to us. Now, essentially, if you bookmark this site onto your browser, on your phone, that is going to help you reach the website at a click of a button. And from the website, you should be able to get access to all the systems that you would want to access during the study of this course. Now, if I just magnify this briefly, so that you're able to see what I'm referring to. If you need to refer to us or get back to us 24/7, this is the WhatsApp number that you can WhatsApp us on. And obviously, this is the out of hours number as well. If you need to reach us, there's an email, which is a monitored mailbox. You get a response within a couple of minutes if you send an email here. And if you have any emails regarding any concerns about the course, if you want to look at, deferring your course, or if you want to look at, say, for example, not going through with your course, as most of you are aware, this course is something that you're undertaking with the help of government funding, which is called the Advanced Learner Loan. You have 14 days to be able to drop off or change your mind in terms of if you don't want to do this course, simply because once the 14-day period is elapsed, what will happen is that the funding would then be given to the provider. And then at that stage, we don't get the full funding of the course straight away. The funding comes to the provider in 6 different installments, 6 monthly installments. So this is a course which is going to be a funded course under the Advanced Learner Loans. This course is primarily, to ensure that if you change your mind, if you at any given point in time decide not to do the course or put the course on hold, then it is important for us and for you to communicate that to us by an official email and in writing, and that email can come across to admin@UK Versity. And that would mean that at any given stage, we would then not confirm attendance and ensure that you have no course installment or fees to pay back to the back to the government at some stage, simply because you've decided not to do the course. Now, the other bit that you would look at is to access the system. This is a shortcut or a link to access Moodle. So if you click on this, it'll take you to the Moodle website. And then some of the other systems that you would need to have access to is our YouTube channel. So I'll briefly show these to you on a separate window. And that would mean that you would be fully then equipped to handle and study this course with us. Now, this is one of the systems that I'm going to give you a brief demo of. And then apart from this, what I would do is any sessions, any, say, for example, videos that you want to look at, or additional lectures that you want to look at for any of the units will actually come across from our YouTube channel. And this particular channel is something which is straightforward to remember. It's youtube.com/UK Versity Online, all one word. And what I would suggest you to do is, while you're studying the course with us, you could subscribe to this channel. So if there are new videos and lectures which are put up related to your course and you're subscribed to a specific playlist, if I go into playlists, you would be basically looking at business and management playlist, and that would allow you to essentially, this particular playlist, which is business and IAP, and this would have new videos when they're uploaded. You'd be able to basically get hold of you because you're subscribed to the channel. There are in excess of 8,500 videos that we have got, but some of them are only for subscribers and some of them are only for students who are studying the course with us currently. Now, if I go onto the Moodle platform, you would be receiving an email from one of my colleagues, and I'll hand over to him in a second. He will briefly give you a quick demo of how to access the platform and take you through the process of maybe issuing username and passwords, and then you're going to be able to have access to this particular course material. So Victor, over to you.
Thank you very much, Raman. Good morning, everyone. So my name is Victor. I am the IT administrator here at University. So as Raman mentioned before, you guys will have access to Moodle, which is our learning management system. And what will happen is that within the next couple of days, I will now issue you a login. So you will now receive an email coming from IT admin, and what you receive will be like a temporary password where you need to enter your username and this temporary password. And by doing so, you will now be able to generate.
All right, let me know.
You will now be able to generate your new password. So it's simply a system where everyone is familiar with. So there shouldn't be any issue for you guys. But if you do have any issue, you feel like you're stuck, you can just email me at victor@ukversity.co.uk. So as soon as I receive your email, I'll be now able to assist you. So I might contact you via email, or maybe I might give you a phone call back. So without any further ado, if I'm able to share my screen, you can yeah. So what happens is I'll just ask 1 second.
Yeah.
I'll just give you a quick demonstration of how our platform works.
Bentley Bridge.
Fucking Bentley Bridge, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine, man.
Just a few more seconds, guys, and I should be able to share my screen. The feature is not activated yet. Okay, yeah.
Go on,
okay,
try and share your screen now.
Yes, so now I'm able to share my screen. Thank you very much, Raman. So as I was saying, guys, what happened is you now have your username and your password, which you can now generate after receiving a temporary password. So this is how your Moodle would look like. So if you're studying just one course with us, you will now have a tab here at the top of the page where it shows your most recent access course. But if you do decide to join and study multiple courses, you will now have all of them on your course overview. So once you now receive your username and password and you're now able to access your material, you now have to browse to your course. So in your case, this would be business, and you'll come into the ATHE Level 3 Diploma in Business -LITC category. So once you now access your course, you now have an overview with a couple of handouts. So you have the ATHE Learner Handbook, which was the one that Mr. Raman was sharing with you guys before. And after that, you now have access to your your level 3 business specification. Yeah, which I'm assuming is the same one. And yeah, you have more other useful materials such as command verbs, hardware references style, which was introduced by Raman earlier before. And also you have some tips, some communication from us. So for instance, when you have to submit your assignment, submission will not be done via Moodle because we have a monitored mailbox, which is litc@ukversity.co.uk. So by you submitting your assignment into this mailbox, one of our tutors will now check your assignment, will now give you a formative feedback, and let you know if there's any improvement that has to be done into your assignment. But if your tutor feels like your assignment is perfect, you will now take that in consideration as your final submission. So the way Moodle will look like, we'll now break it into 4 parts. So these 4 parts will now have a title, which is going to be the unit name. And for each unit, you will now have all the materials, such as presentation, ebooks, and also other useful material. So if once it comes to writing the assignment, if you feel like you need extra support, if you feel like the ebooks or the material that are good or are not good enough, or you might need to do some extra studies, you can now email us back and we can now provide you with other online ebooks. So the way they are structured, so the way they're all structured, they all have like a unit specification, which is always at the top. This unit specification could be either have a presentation, or it could have the full breakdown of the unit. And after that, you will now see useful material.
You've been up here, Jack.
Please, can you mute yourself? Please. There's a guy who signed up with iPhone. Could you mute yourself? Hello. Can you please mute yourself?
To get the breakfast.
Decent place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hello, there's a guy who signed up as iPhone. Can you please mute yourself? Thank you very much. Okay, as I was saying, for each unit, will be now divided with your unit specification at the top. You will now have your ebooks following after the specification, and after that, you will now have each learning outcome. So then,
Behind us. Because he could just go down there and then cross over.
Okay. Yeah. So as I was saying, each learning outcome will now have a short name, which is LO2 or LO1 to LO5 or LO6, depending on the number of learning outcome that has to be covered for the unit. And after that, following your learning outcome, you now have a assignment discussion where your tutor will take you through all the scenario and all the tasks that has to be covered for your assignment. So as I mentioned, the submission has to be emailed to this monitored mailbox, which is litc@ukversity.co.uk, and you will also receive an electronic receipt which says that we have now received your email. So if in case you do not receive that electronic receipt, you might have to wait for a few minutes for it to come, or if it actually does not come, try to resubmit. And if it still does not come, and then just email us back at one of our emails. So from your Moodle account, you can there's like a dashboard as well, where you can see your timetable. So in this dashboard, there's the timetable, just in case if you are going to have any tutorial, you can see them from there. So this is pretty much everything that you need to know about Moodle. Thank you very much, Rahman.
Thanks, Victor. So I hope this has given you a bit of a quick background in terms of how to access Moodle and you know what you will be getting access to when you get your logins with regards to course and course learning material. I'm going to quickly invite Jill in. She's the course coordinator. The reason I would want some of the key staff and members to be, introduced today would be to ensure that you have good amount of, accessibility to all of them. Should you have any problems or any issues at any given point in time. So I will also request for my colleagues, Mr. Zafar, to join in, and I will expect him to give you a quick brief of overview and just a very brief introduction about how the sessions and everything is going to be run when we start the first unit on Wednesday/Thursday. So just give me 1 second. Let me get him on. So, Mr. Zafar, if you're able to hear me, if you could now, take us forward. Any questions on the session so far? Anybody, any questions at this stage? Please do feel free to ask those questions through the chat room, or generally, you can unmute your microphones and ask us those questions in the meanwhile.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, morning, Dempsey. How are you doing? Okay.
Can you
Yes,
hear me?
go on.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Sheikh. No, I just want to know if it is meeting for the Trinity University business management.
Yeah, so you're going to be looking at studying the level 3 diploma in business course with us for the next 16 to 20 weeks.
Yes.
So did I answer your question? What were you asking? What course you are studying?
Business management.
That is correct. Yes. So this course is
It's level 3. Yeah.
level 3. The word management gets added on when you do your degree course. So at level 3, at level 2, you'll primarily, or if you were doing a course between level 3, these courses are generally called business or business administration. The management word gets added when you start doing a degree course, because the degree that you will achieve when you complete this course and join the degree course at the university, you're going to be looking at studying a BA honors business management degree. So the management word will get added on when you start doing a degree. At this stage, the course is called the level 3 diploma in business.
Oh, right.
Is that okay?
So it's a semi-course, isn't it?
It is a
It's a semi-course in the same university, like Trinity.
yes, it is a course. It's a course at level 3. I think, to the best of my knowledge, 70–80% of the courses at level 3 are generally called business or business administration or business enterprise, but they will generally be business related. Management as a word gets added on to qualifications at level 4 or first year of your uni.
No, because I joined late in on me, so that's why I don't see like.
Absolutely fine. It's a very valid question that you've asked. So this is the course handbook that you'll be able to access once you get access to the Moodle, and it will give you the full details of the course. This is the level 3 diploma in business. Obviously, there are aspects of it in terms of management, because it's an entry-level course that you're studying. At a higher level, you will get access to management. First, you need to learn the skills and knowledge to be able to understand how business runs, how business operates. But at a later stage, when you start studying your degree course, which is the first year of your uni, they will then start to add things to your skills and knowledge that you picked up in terms of how do you manage, how do you delegate, how do you supervise. And that component would be component of management, which will get added on to some of the modules. People management, things like communication management, and that is where the word would come in. But at this stage, the course is going to be, looking at you picking up the essential skills to be able to study level 3 diploma in business, essentially.
All right.
Good morning. Hello, good morning. You okay? Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello guys, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, Jill, we can hear you.
Okay. So my name is Jilahi and I'm your course coordinator. How are you guys? Are you guys okay?
Yes, all good.
Is any student hear me or not? So I'm your course coordinator and I'm doing the scheduling your sessions. And if you guys have any queries, then you can send me an email. My email address is jill@university.co.uk. If you have any queries or any problems, you can directly email me. I can solve that out for you.
Hello, good morning. Hello,
Good morning. Good morning.
All right. Thank you for attending the session. I'm Zafar Iqbal. I'll be taking you for ATHE Level 3 Diploma in Business. Some of the units, the course will be starting soon this week. And the courses, units will be taught in Wednesday and Thursday. And there are assignments on the Diploma Level 3 course. This is a basic course that allow you to entry into the university in the UK. Okay, which you doing these courses, they are taught. If you don't have a GCSE or you don't have an A level, this is an alternative entry requirement for getting into the university. First year of the university course in business management or business studies courses. Okay. there are about a couple of assignments that you need to do, and they vary in nature, they vary in depth, and they vary on different units. For example, one of the units is how to operate business. The other one is to do with accounting, maybe some basic knowledge of accounting. Then you have some kind of assignments on communication skills, and if you need to access the syllabus, you can go to the Moodle ATHE level 3 business, and assignment details and all the syllabus will be uploaded on there. You can access from the ATHE Moodle manual from the ukversity.co.uk. These assignments have to be internally marked and externally verified. These are, when you submit the assignments, they'll be marked according to their standards, provide you feedback, provide you results, making sure that your assignment is up to the mark. As Raman explained, these assignments will have to be less than 25% plagiarized, i.e. copying and pasting is not allowed. However, you can have up to 20% of similar work, but making sure that this is reduced to less than 20%. Otherwise, if it's plagiarized, i.e. it's copy and pasted from other sources and as your own work, which is not, this is a criminal offense, academic criminal offense, in other words. So make sure that you don't copy and paste more than 20%. Okay. This will then go to once you submit your assignment, you mark internally, you will get some feedback. Then if everything's fine, then it will be moderated internally and submitted to the board for your certification. Okay. Once you get the certificate, you can allow to enter to the university, and hopefully, you can get into admission into any of the universities that you prefer, provided you get good grades. Generally pass will not allow you to get into university courses, but merit and distinction, I think you should be able to achieve merit and distinction and get a degree entry in there. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Zafar. Thank you. Just a quick one, which I want to basically bring in while he was obviously speaking to you, that this is how the final diploma is going to be, awarded. And I'm going to look at, okay, that's great. Thank you. I will just have a quick look. So this is what your final award or diploma would essentially, look like. And this would be a 2-page transcript, which would essentially have the first as the diploma, and the second would have your transcript, which second page would have your transcript, which will essentially mention the grades that you got. As you can see in this case, the learner has achieved 3 merits and 1 pass, and obviously his overall qualification is moved to merit. And this is how the final certification or the award will be done by ATHE. Now, very briefly, I know that we have overshot the time. I just want to very briefly take you through the process of assessment and feedback. Now, for all the units that you're going to study, we're going to make available, these workbooks, which are available from the awarding organization. They will be provided from Moodle. And these workbooks are essentially one workbook for each unit. Now, these workbooks essentially cover all the tasks in great amount of detail. This is something that we are going to be using for the purposes of teaching and learning as well. And they would kind of become your main study documents, because if you look at this particular workbook, it's about 41 pages, but give or take, some of the cover pages and other bits away, we are looking at about 25 to 30 pages, which are going to be useful for you to study this particular unit. And this is how we are going to be looking at asking you to complete activities while we do the sessions. And these activities would then essentially mean that you're also completing assignments as you go along, completing these activities after every session. So say, for example, we do the first session on Thursday and we look at covering learning outcome 1. In learning outcome 1, we'll discuss what are businesses, types of ownership, and then there will be a question that you would need to fill in. And this question here would basically be meeting one of the task criteria that are required to be done in the assignment. So there will be some part of homework or self-study given, if I put it this way. And this self-study would require you to complete this workbook as we study the unit in different sessions. So there'll be different questions that you will be asked to cover, and these questions would essentially also be helping you cover and meet the assignment which is required to be completed as you complete the unit. So as you can see, the learning outcome 1 we will discuss types of businesses, ownership of businesses, private and public sector businesses, and what are the key benefits of starting a public business or a private sector business or a limited company. And these would be discussed, and what you will be looking at doing is writing some bits down in terms of these activities, and they would be meeting your criteria for covering the assignment as well. So all these activities are a part of learning outcome 1, as you can see. So we'll be looking at covering a couple of details. Then we go to learning outcome 2, which will be the next session. So in terms of study for the course, if I give you some brief guideline, what I would say is, if you attend a session with us, which is generally going to be 1 hour, 45 minutes to an hour long, I would suggest spending at least 1 to 2 hours a week in terms of covering some of these activities which are given in the workbooks. And these would then allow you to, let's say, confidently cover and get the knowledge which is required after studying the session or after going through the learning outcome 1 with us during the Zoom session. So there are workbooks which are going to be made available for each of the units, and these workbooks would be completed as you complete the course. So by the end of the course, what will happen is you'll have this particular big document, which is 4 documents for each of the units. And this will also have a record of your work that you have completed as you have studied the qualification with us. So bits and pieces of this is something that we also have on our website. So when we ask you to complete the work, you would either complete these PDF documents in terms of type them in. They are fillable documents. So when you click your mouse here, you should be able to fill the details in. And in some cases, we will also provide website links in which this same workbook is completed on our website. And that would allow you to use your phone, your tablet, your PC, or your Mac. And you should be able to then, complete these workbooks as you go along. And that towards the end would become your assignment. So you would not need to do any additional work. And this bit would be something that you're looking at doing at some stage when we look at the process of teaching and learning. So at this stage, this is just for your knowledge that these are also going to be made available for each of the units. And you are going to be looking at completing these workbooks as we go along in terms of study of the particular unit. Now, if I just switch you back quickly to, the agenda, in terms of what we discussed and what we started with, what we would want to do is, so you've seen the systems, you have had a bit of a idea in terms of how the feedback process would be done. We are looking at assignment submissions to be done on this email, which is litc@ukversity. Sessions scheduling is to be, we are going to start off with teaching on Thursdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays, and these sessions would be 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Now, I've given you an idea in terms of how the certification would look like, and this is just at this stage to let you know that most of you who are looking at, not most, every one of you who has joined this course is looking at going and achieving the certification with the grade that you have in mind to achieve. And we will leave no stone unturned at our end to be able to make sure that you are able to successfully complete and achieve the qualifications with us. Now, last but very briefly, I'm not going to take much of your time, but very briefly, there are 2 or 3 things which I want to highlight again. All of you are doing this course under what is called advanced learner loans. Now, the loan that you have applied for or would be applying for is 2573, which is what is going to be paid in 6 installments to the college. And this loan is going to be a loan that will sit with you, and towards the end of the year, you would receive maybe a statement from Student Finance, SFE, England, which will say that this is the loan that you've taken on. There are no repayments to this loan start, unless you start earning over 27,000. So repayments of the loan back to the SFE, which is Student Finance England, start if you start earning over £27,995 a year. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is quite important, because if you decide, if say, for example, you decide that this is not the right course for you, then you have 14 days to, decide and intimate the SFE, Student Finance, oblique the college, to say that I am not looking at doing this course. That would mean there is no loan, no installment, no debt, nothing sits with you as far as this course is concerned. But should you decide after 14 days, then you are all in this case, anything that you have received, any fees installment which the college has received would not be returnable because of the fact that you have already commenced or started studying this particular course. So I think some of the bits that you need to be very clear about is that this is a course that you're studying under what is called advanced learner loans. And these loans are normally provided to learners when they study courses from level 1 to level 3. And this particular course has a loan amount of 2573 on the government database. And this is paid as fees to the college when you study the course with us in 6 installments. Should you decide that you do not want to do this course, you have 14 days to be able to drop off and send us an email in writing to say, and that would mean we would delete your data according to GDPR regulations, withdraw you from the course, intimate Student Finance that no further payments have to be done or no payments at all have to be done to us. Now, after you complete this course, at some stage, if some of you do not decide to go forward and take admission into university, but decide that you want to start working, then at some stage what will happen is you would also receive a statement at the end of the year from Student Finance, just like you receive a statement from your bank, and that would say this is the loan, this is the interest, and these are the repayments that you would need to do. So these repayments only start if you start earning over £27,995. So when you look at Student Finance England and the website, if you go to, it very clearly specifies, what, say, for example, when do you start paying the loan back? And, what is it that you are able to get under this loan, which is the tuition fees, which goes to the college. So most of you would be essentially looking at making an application once you've received the funding letters from the college. And these applications are primarily going to be done on studentfinance.gov website. This is where you will need to create a login, which is a login that you'll have for life. Whenever you decide to study in higher education or do any course with university or any college, this is a login that you create once. So the username and the password and the credentials of this have to be kept safe. Do not share them with anybody. This will give you statements, how your progress is happening, how your course is going. Any communication which happens between you and Student Finance will come on through this portal. And this is where you'll be looking at doing the application to, get the loan. Now, once the loan is done and the loan is approved, I'm going to quickly show you a previous funding letter, just to give you an idea. How does this letter come to you? This letter would then be coming to you individually from Student Finance. And this letter would essentially very clearly say that your loan has been approved. This, they will give you details of when the loan will start, what is the course, and how the repayments would be and things like that. And that would allow you to essentially have it for your records that you are studying this course with the college. So let me just try and see if I can bring across one particular letter just for showing you. So what you would need to do is provide us a copy of this letter once you receive it. And the reason of asking you to provide us a copy of this letter is to ensure that, at some stage, we know that your loan has been approved. We need to start tracking attendance. One of the key things that you would look at when you start thing, which I'll mention. Now, when you join these sessions, what is going to happen is that in any given stage, when you join these sessions with us, what will happen is that you are required to do registration. So Zoom is going to ask you to do registration. That means it'll ask you to put your email, your name, and then say, join the session. And the reason of asking you to do that is that would allow us to get a bit of attendance that you are joining this particular session. So one of the key requirements as a college, we need to be able to go back to SFE is to say that, at any given stage, to prove that the student is actually joining the course, studying the course with us. It is going to be mandatory for us to be able to do that. And that is one of the reasons why I mentioned that, when you sign in and join the Zoom session, you have to make sure that you sign in with your name and your email address, so that at any given point in time, if they need to look at, the attendance side of things, then we would be able to do that and then show them to, and submit the attendance to them. And that is what is going to be required. So let me just quickly show you the letter in terms of how you would receive this. And this would mention most of the details that you would be looking at from a point of view of after the loan approval. Excuse me. So this is the letter that you would receive, which will come from Advanced Learner Loans. It will say the amount that has been approved for the loan. It will say the name of your qualification. If you see, it'll say the name of your qualification, which is Diploma in Business. This is the loan amount that is being given to your training organization or the college. And on the second page, if I bring that second page up, so it'll be a 3-page letter. On the second page, what it'll do is provide us the breakdown of the amount which is going to be paid as tuition fees loan to the college. So let me just bring that up as well. So when you get a copy of this letter through the post or through the email, then my suggestion would be that you're looking at sharing this with us. So this will mention the name of the provider, Lionheart and Community Limited, Diploma in Business. This will be the course code, which I've explained. The start date and end date will be mentioned, the loan that you're taking or as a fees that we will get from student finance. And this is going to be payable to us in 7 installments. So if we do not confirm attendance, and if you don't attend this course, we will not be able to get the fees installments, and obviously you would be dropping off from the course. So it is mandatory and important for you to understand that there are attendance requirements from the student finance on this in order for us to be able to have you on this particular course. There is no fees payment which is going to be done to you. It is just a tuition fees loan, which is going to mean that the college, in this case, Lionheart and Community Limited, is going to be getting 7 installments from the student finance on a monthly basis. And that is why the duration of the course would be important, because it will say a start date and it will say an end date. And that would mean that we would need to teach and deliver this course to you in this time frame under the rules of government funding. So I hope this bit, is also, clearer with the aspect of you having to understand that the course is a funded course, and there is, obviously a tuition fees loan which will be provided to the college. Now, one other last thing which I want to mention very briefly is that if you have, and I'm going to text this on as a message to everyone. So if you need to reach us, on the emails to say, speak to the course coordinator, and you want to know about the sessions in terms of the schedule. Yeah, I'll take that question as well. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to type them on the chat route and I will take them one by one very, very quickly. Now, if you have any problems or if you need to know about these sessions and the schedule, then you're going to send an email off to litc@UK-Versity, and that would allow the course coordinator, Jill, to pick this up, and she would then respond back to you with the Zoom meeting codes, so you're able to join the sessions. If you have any problems on Moodle and IT in terms of accessibility of the Moodle platform, then you're going to be sending an email to itadmin@ukversity.co.uk. Last but not the least, a couple of other bits that you would look at in terms of if you need to send across an email to any of the lecturers who are going to be teaching this program. If you have queries related to, say, for example, your unit or learning outcome or assignment, then you're going to be sending, emails to learnerwork@ukversity or litc@ukversity.co.uk. Now, one quick question somebody has asked me as one of the learners is, you get any personal grants when you study this course? Yes, there are personal grants that you can apply for. They are going to be means tested. If you go onto the student finance website, what you're going to be able to see is that when you apply for this particular loan, there is a page or a section on the loan which will come, and that will ask you to essentially discuss your income and your current income status, and they will ask specific questions which will then determine what kind of personal grants you can get. Now, in most cases, any grants that you are looking at getting would be subject to things like maybe travel allowances, maybe allowances for accessing, course material like books. And in some cases, again, this is generically describing that if you're taking care of elders or if you're acting as a carer and if you're studying this course, then in some cases there are some personal grants which are applicable, which are provided by the government and under the student finance. But this is going to be specific to specific learners. I won't be able to go into details because each of the applications would be specific. And when you put your circumstance, when you fill in the information, and depending on your circumstances, what you're going to be able to see is that these grants are going to be specific to your situation and how you fill that application up. I wish I could have shown you the application process in terms of how it works, and in terms of how this goes forward. But generally speaking, when you create your own login and you go into the student finance account, if I very briefly show just one for the purposes of just as a ready reckoner here, not that. So if you see the screen here, I've logged into a student account. This is my own account, for example. If I've logged in, if you're applying for any sort of special grants, things like disability, in your case, it is advanced learner loans. But if you're applying for any such grants, you would need to choose specific reasons and provide data, by uploading documents here, and they would then be assessed by the student finance, and then they will respond back to you in this login itself, which is your student finance login. So this is something that you will have to look into individually, simply because it is case specific and it is going to be specific to your personal circumstances. Any other questions at this stage? Yeah, classes are going to be online. That's again a very good question. So classes are definitely online. And these classes, classes definitely online, and the class schedule is going to be shared with you. These class schedule is going to be Wednesdays and Thursdays, and it is 11 to 12 a.m. So these will be the classes, and obviously it will be online. Any other questions from anybody else? I've got a few which I've got here, and I'm scrolling through them to just maybe answer if you also have some of these. Yeah, there are no exams in this qualification. Definitely no exams, only workbooks to be completed, and the workbooks can be completed as PDF or can be completed on our website. So yeah, there are no exams, and we'll provide guidance. It's a graded qualification. You'll get feedback. It's a consultative approach. There is no pass and fail. Everybody is going to pass and everybody is going to get feedback. And that feedback is going to help you to complete, achieve, and pass the unit and achieve the grade that you're looking at achieving. Good stuff. So I would say at this stage, this session is recorded. And should you need to review this section, the induction session, sorry, I would have Jill send across copies of the recording links to you, and you should be able to, go through it. If you think of any other questions, if not now, that's not an issue. If you think of questions at a later stage, feel free to ask us by sending us an email at litc@ukversity.co.uk. So for now, if there are no more questions or queries, considering everyone's time, thank you so much for your patience and for attending this session. And I look forward to obviously catching up with you during the delivery of the course as one of the units I would be teaching as well. And hopefully we'll have a good interactive and learning sessions so that you're able to learn and gain knowledge while you study this course with us. Thank you so much for attending. and bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Claire. Thank you. Thanks, Sarah. Thank you, Khalid. Thank you, Huda. Thank you, Dagmar. Thank you, Khalid. Thank you, Costello. Thank you, Vinair. Thank you. Thanks.